boy, this is not the team that we're used to seeing.
So you're calling them frauds, basically.
Always been a fan of his. He gets too much hate.
I think they're cooked. I think the Chiefs are cooked if you're 5-6.
Ugh, does not look great when you're watching it. Hello and welcome back to Ain't That Our Ball. I'm David Scott. Alongside me is NFL expert Ryan Sanudo. Ryan, how are we doing this week?
Doing great. We got a lot of good matchups to talk about. Let's get into it.
All right, let's start with the interesting matchup between the Indianapolis Colts and the Kansas City Chiefs. Two teams on opposite trajectories right now. Colts are riding high and the Chiefs are out of the playoffs right now. Let's start on the Colts side since they're doing so well. What's going to go right for them in this matchup?
It all starts with Jonathan Taylor. This guy, if it wasn't for, everyone being, it's the quarterback-driven league, but he would be the MVP if it wasn't for quarterbacks. He's just amazing. He always gets the scrimmage yards is always his thing. He's a receiver. He's a running back. So he does it all in that offense. And then Daniel Jones, he's been great too. 15 touchdowns. He's been throwing to guys like Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman. Alec Pierce has been a really good player for them. So many different guys. And then it all starts with that offensive line. The offensive line has really done well for Jones, for Taylor, providing lanes for Taylor. So all around, this is one of the best offenses in football. It starts with that offensive line, and everyone works from there.
Yeah, I think everything is functioning so well because of that offensive line. Jonathan Taylor, he does this year after year, but he's been incredible this year. He looks like he should be an MVP. And then the guy handing the football off to him, Daniel Jones, is up there among the candidates as well. He actually, this year, has a higher passer rating than Andrew Luck had with the Colts. That's just something crazy to even think about. But things are going so right for them, just all over the field. And they made a great trade for Sauce Gardner, who has played really well since he joined the team. The defense as a whole looks pretty good. Just all around, good vibes coming out of Indianapolis. You haven't seen something like this from them in a long time. You got to feel good for them. And it's also just, I feel good because it's fun to watch them.
And they finally have the quarterback. I feel like that was always something that the Colts didn't have. They had Carson Wentz going out there.
Phillip Rivers.
They had Phillip Rivers, just old guys. Matt Ryan. You have Daniel Jones, who's young, who can run with the football. So I feel like they were missing that quarterback, and Jonathan Taylor has been healthy. I feel like there have been years where Jonathan Taylor is banged up. And also with Jonathan Taylor, now that he has the quarterback, it provides a lot of confusion for the defenses. They don't know if they want to, defend the run or the pass. So altogether, Shane Steichen, he's done a phenomenal job. They're 8-2 for a lot of reasons. I think it's the offense as a whole. Defensively, I think they have their, good moments and bad moments, but offensively, it all starts with them.
Yeah, the offense is definitely going to be more of the problem for the Chiefs than the defense in this matchup. The Chiefs, boy, this is not the team that we're used to seeing. A lot of things going wrong. There's still a lot of things going right, yet they're sitting at 5-5 on the season.
Yeah, they're very iffy on offense. I feel like they were getting really lucky in one-score games last year, and you're not seeing it. They're actually the worst team when it comes to being clutch statistically. So they're 0-5 in one-score games. So things haven't been in rhythm with Patrick Mahomes. I feel like he's been missing deep balls, too, here and there. And then the middle of the field, he's been forgetting about the middle of the field, too. So I feel like he's been throwing to the sidelines a lot. And then the rushing attack. The rushing attack has been not great. So there's a lot of iffy things on that Chiefs offense. And on paper, you think, oh, you got Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Kelsey, okay, he's older. And you should think that they're like a top 10, top 5 offense. And that's not the case. I think Patrick Mahomes, I think it actually starts with the offensive line, then it's Patrick Mahomes. I feel like Patrick Mahomes should be doing better. I feel like he was really good earlier in the year. And recently, we saw with the Broncos defense, yes, they have a really good defense, but I feel like he's been just iffy with his throws, and we're not seeing the same Mahomes from the previous years.
Yeah, he's not of the MVP caliber that we're used to seeing from him. Again, you were right. Earlier in the season, everyone was thinking, oh, Mahomes is back. This is classic Mahomes, and he's fallen off again. They're 5-5 now. I looked through some of the numbers regarding the Chiefs so far this season, their wins and their losses, because their defense is still one of the better units in the league, and their offense, while it doesn't look pretty, is still up there in total yards per game and points per game, even though it does not look great when you're watching it. The games that they win, the 5 games that they've won, have all been against teams that are not in a playoff position currently. They've won all of those games by multiple scores, so by more than 7 points. Every game that they've lost has come against a team that currently owns a playoff spot, and they've lost all of those games by 1 score or less.
So you're calling them frauds, basically.
What I'm saying is this was, and I hate to bring it back to my own team, but in 2022, or I think it was 22 when the Dolphins won 11 games.
Oh, 2023, yeah.
It was 23 when they won 11 games. every game that they won was against a team that was not above 500. And every game that they lost was against a good playoff team. So that does not bode well for once you get to the playoffs and you have to play the teams that are actually good. So there's something in there that is not really good for the Chiefs. And they're still, they're getting their yards, but is it inflated by those bad teams? Probably, because they don't look good.
I really think that they're just not good on the road. They're 4-1 at home, and they have a really bad 1-4 record on the road. So I think when they're at home, they're feeling good. So actually, as much as we've been crapping on the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs are going to pull through and win this game on just the fact that they're good at home. Patrick, this is such a must-win game. 5-5, you lose this game, you're 5-6. I think they're cooked. I think the Chiefs are cooked if you're 5-6. The Colts, they have 1 week of not playing. They haven't played in quite a while since that London game, right? I think, yeah,
somewhere
one of those
there.
games. And there's so many international games I already forget. But I feel like the Chiefs, this is such a must-win game, and if they lose this game, they're cooked.
No matter what happens here, it's going to be an interesting story for the rest of the season. Let's move on now to one of the more interesting matchups. We've got the Los Angeles Rams versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Rams look like true Super Bowl contenders. We talk about them a lot, and we talk about them a lot for good reason. Buccaneers have been sliding back a little bit. They got the Panthers, of all teams, nipping at their heels. Let's start with the Rams. We can be brief on them because we've spoken a lot about how much we love Matthew Stafford and such. What do you see going on in this matchup with them?
So with the Rams, everything on offense is just seamless. Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, everyone's just making contributions. Davante Adams. So finally, I think they've been listening to our show. Matthew Stafford is finally the favorite for MVP. Finally, have they been listening to the show? I think they have. So Stafford is the MVP favorite, and for a reason, only 2 picks. And he's having his best season in his career. And I think it starts with Stafford just being great. I feel like the Seahawks game, he didn't have his best game, but I think the Seahawks defense is so good. You're facing a team now against Tampa Bay. They're not good. I think this is a game that's going to be very good for the Rams offense, and they just set the tone with all those playmakers. I just think that Matthew Stafford has been balling out, and I feel like anytime he just finds a way to pull through with a win. They got a 5-game winning streak right now.
Yeah, I think actually we could see a lot of the running game really succeed in this game. The Buccaneers front line is a little suspect at times. They got some good guys up there, but not as strong as other units that the Rams have faced this year. And you got Kyron Williams there, but don't forget about Blake Corum. He can poach some targets when he gets into the red zone. So I think you could see a really good rushing attack here. The secondary also is pretty weak, so Puka Nacua, Davante Adams, they're still going to get their numbers. But I would like to see what the running game can do here with Kyron Williams and Corum. The Buccaneers, they're going to have to do a lot to keep up in this game. Baker Mayfield has been slowing down a bit. He was on that sort of MVP trajectory to start the season, but slid back a bit. He hasn't had some of his weapons. Bucky Irving's been hurt. Chris Godwin's been hurt. They might be coming back in this game. They're going up against one of the strongest defenses in the NFL this week. Baker's going to have to do a lot to get a win in this one.
Yeah, they were in a complete shootout with Buffalo, but when a team is scoring over 40 points, there's only so much you can do. So the Bucs did all they could do. Sean Tucker was really good in that game. I think you're going to be seeing a lot more from Sean Tucker because Rachaad White, he's okay, but I feel like Sean Tucker is really good in that backfield and is better. But the Bucs, there's only so much they can do. I feel like they're banged up, like you said. No Mike Evans, even Igbuka, he's been good, or he was good early on.
Slowed
but
down a bit.
You can look at the targets and the receptions. I feel like they haven't been the same relationship. Baker and Igbuka. I feel like they're not connecting as well as they were earlier in the season. So I think that plays a role in the fact that the Bucs have been, struggling recently. So I think this is going to be a shootout, Rams-Bucs. But there's only so much they can do. The defense, I don't really love in Tampa Bay. And the Rams, I feel like they're so complete as a team. The Buccaneers, they got the injuries. I don't like them in this game.
I'm a little concerned about them going forward. The Panthers have been a lot more impressive than you would have expected. I believe they're 6-5 while the Buccaneers are 6-4. So only a half-game discrepancy there. Few things go wrong for the Buccaneers. Few things go right for Bryce Young's Panthers. We could see a huge flip in that division that we haven't seen for a while.
So I'm going to give the Buccaneers still the slight edge. If they lose this game, they still have to play the Saints and other teams, the Falcons. So I still trust the Bucs to win that division. I don't like them in the playoffs.
All right, well, let's move on to an exciting divisional matchup. We saw this once before already to open the season. We're getting their second matchup of the year, the Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The Cowboys have proven that they've got, I think, the most potent offense in the NFL. Just 2 incredible pass catchers, a great running back, and Dak Prescott is balling out. I've always been a fan of his. He gets too much hate. That's something for another time. And then the Eagles, just that stout defense, just always crushing teams. And the offense is still not there yet, but as we saw in their first match of the season, this is going to be a close game.
This is going to be a close game. I think the Cowboys offensively, top to bottom, I love it. Like George Pickens, he's just been providing contribution after contribution every single week. And like CeeDee Lamb, he's missed a couple games, but he's fit in obviously quite well with Prescott. And obviously the run game, with Williams. So, and then we forget about Jake Ferguson. And there's so many guys in that offense, mouths to feed. So, and the offensive line, I think it starts with that offensive line too, like I was talking about with the Colts. That offensive line has been great for Prescott. I think they're one of the best teams when it comes to protecting Dak. I think it's top 5 when it comes to sacks allowed.
Which is rare for the Cowboys.
Which is very rare. That's something that they've struggled with last year. This year they're doing much better. But then that defense, the defense always seems to struggle at times. They've been a little bit better, but I mean, come on, that's not saying much. We saw them be terrible during the year against the Broncos, against other teams. So they're a little bit better now. They have Quinnen Williams on that defense. But I just think the Cowboys, that's the defense I just don't like. Even against an Eagles offense, that's been a little stagnant. I think the Eagles will actually, I think this is going to be a shootout, just like Rams Bucs. I think the Eagles are actually going to figure out what they want to do on offense. This is going to be like a get-right game. It's so funny with the Eagles. They win all these games, and this is a get-right game, I think you're going to be seeing that in this game.
The Cowboys' defense is certainly an opportunity for the Eagles to figure out their passing identity. We're in week 12. You shouldn't be figuring out your identity this late, but they have so many issues there. Jalen Hurts can't complete a pass that's more than 20 yards. A.J. Brown loses his cool on the sideline every other day. Devonta Smith just doesn't get the ball enough. And Saquon Barkley stinks this year. That's not the passing game, but he is not the same rusher that we saw last year. So a lot of things going wrong on that offense. You go against a weak defense like the Cowboys, maybe you start to figure those things out. Or on the other hand, maybe this is a moment for the Cowboys defense to figure out, hey, maybe we can be thumpers. Maybe we can find an opportunity here. The Eagles have a great offensive line, a little bit banged up. Lane Johnson has been hurt. They've got injuries out there, but the Cowboys are 4-5-1. By no means are they out of the playoff hunt. You pick up a signature win against the Eagles, spark some momentum. They're playing hard for Marshawn Nealon. I could see them, shock the world, take a win here, get on a little streak to end the season, sneak their way into the playoffs, and then anything can happen.
There's so many teams in the NFC that it's tough to, add a team because obviously only 7 teams can make the playoffs. I just love the wide receivers on both these two teams. Pickens and Lamb, Smith and Brown. Sure, the Eagles have their issues with the wide receivers, but I think this is going to be a get-right game for the Eagles wide receivers. I think Smith, it's not even a question. You look at the stats, he's the better player than Brown. He's younger. He can get open quicker. I feel like Brown is the guy that's, been doing cardio out there this year. I feel like Smith is the better guy between the two. And then I was mentioning with Pickens. So I really like the wide receivers in this game. I think it's going to be a shootout. I like the Eagles, though. You can't go wrong with the Eagles. Yes, they find ways to win. They're ugly, but they still win. They're 8-2 for a reason. They won the Super Bowl last year. I get what you're saying. The Cowboys, this could be, a surprise upset pick. But the Eagles, I'm sorry, I need to believe it before I can see it when it comes to losing these type games. They find ways.
All right, well, I'll tell you one thing. The Eagles are going to be 8-3 after this game.
You're going to bet on that? You're going to bet on that?
The Cowboys are rolling into town. No, actually, they're hosting.
The Cowboys are hosting, yeah.
The Cowboys are going home, and they're going to win this game. Listen, I'm believing in the Cowboys right now. That offense looks incredible. I think they can beat anyone with this offense right now. We don't have to talk about the defense. We'll see what they do.
Okay, forget about the defense.
Forget about it.
I guess.
Yeah, listen,
that's what you want.
You can turn the TV off when they go on defense. But I'm saying I believe in the Cowboys right now. I think they're playing with a lot of heart. They look really just determined to win right now. I would even it's crazy, but I would even pick them to make the playoffs.
Okay.
I think they're going to push forward hard, and I want to see them back in the playoffs because I do think they're a really exciting team.
I just wish the Cowboys defense, if they were just like average, I would agree with you. But I think they're below average. I don't think their defense just doesn't. I don't like it.
We'll see what happens. This could be really just an interesting marker for the rest of the season, like the other matchups we talk about. That's going to do it for this week's episode of Ain't That Our Ball. You can catch us every Thursday, and every Monday you can watch our tactics show, X's and O's. Please leave a like and subscribe, and let us know if you think the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs this year.